So season 6 of Peaky Blinders was seen by many people as an extremely slow and depressing season. A lot of people found this season the worst season in comparison to a lot of the earlier seasons, and there's a lot of mixed reviews about this season online. I'm going to be breaking down why season 6 of Peaky Blinders is seen as a very depressing season and why actually I feel like this was done on purpose. The characters, the pacing of the season and the storylines have all been criticised. It focuses a lot on Tommy Shelby and brushes aside quite a few characters, including other members of the Peaky Blinders gang, the Shelby family, and even the main antagonists having less screen time. I've seen people online literally describe the season as a slog, especially the first 3 episodes which have really zoomed in on Tommy's life and act more of a case study on Tommy. For the record, I actually like this season. It's definitely not my favourite season, and there are a lot of flaws that I found personally within the season, but for me it was very different from the other seasons, and I feel like this was done purposely. There were a lot of similar criticisms of season 5 as the same as season 6, but season 6 does seem to get most of the slack by far. Some of the main reasons people don't like season 6, they feel like it's paced very slow and has less of that high-paced gangster series feel that was present in the first few seasons, and seemed like a rather slow ending to the Peaky Blinders show. People criticised the relationships between characters, but the director actually responded to a lot of these criticisms. He said, "You're taking a show like Peaky that is culturally relevant, it's a TV phenomenon, and there's an expectation of what I want Arthur kicking the S out of people, and I want Tommy being Tommy, and more Peaky stuff." Season 4 was that. Season 4 was a gangster season with the Italians and the Peakies. There's a lot of gangster stuff, guns and all of that. And then season 5 was about the rise of fascism, and it was darker. Season 6 is a character piece about the darkness of Tommy Shelby's soul, and it's how far down he is going to have to go before he can get out. There's always going to be an element of people who want the same stuff, but we're not in it for that because it has to evolve, and it has to change, and it has to challenge the audience's expectations and take you on a far deeper experience than you're expecting to go. This basically means the director styled this season the way it is on purpose. He's clearly said that the way the other seasons have been laid up, he wanted to do something different. He wanted to go deeper into Tommy's character and make it less about gangsters and action. Now obviously because people weren't expecting this in the season, it did leave a lot of people feeling disappointed. However, I feel like it did however work for the last season of the TV show, as even though the show is titled Peaky Blinders and is about the Shelby family and their business, the show is almost always geared around Tommy Shelby and him being the main character of the show. I feel like they made the show quite slow and quite depressing because this was actually Tommy's reality throughout the show. They focused on Tommy Shelby and then wanted the audience to experience how Tommy was feeling at that point in his life, which was obviously in a very bad mental state and was feeling very low and depressed. I also feel like maybe the passing of Helen McCrory, who's Polly Gray's actor, could have had a negative effect on the storyline, as she was one of the biggest characters in Peaky Blinders. I also feel like the character of Polly Gray dying in season 6 at the start definitely had a negative impact on Tommy throughout the rest of the episode. Also, you see a lot of sadness in the season. You see Tommy get very bad health news, and in the middle of the season think he's going to be dead by the end of it. You see Tommy's feud with Michael get really aggressive and start a civil war. You also see in the middle of the season Tommy's daughter die, and this has such a negative impact, not only on Tommy, but the other characters in there such as Lizzie, Arthur and the rest of the family. You also see Arthur's character kind of deteriorate through the season as he's addicted to heroin. And with all this going on, there literally isn't much happiness within the season or within Tommy's life. And I feel like the writers and directors actually did a good job of expressing Tommy's emotions to the audience. You also see Tommy's mental state at the worst possible place it's ever been, and you see this gradually build up over the first 5 seasons and hit a pinnacle within season 6. And I think the show does a good job of saying this. Ultimately, sometimes seasons like this aren't made to make the audience feel happy, excited and positive emotions, but sometimes negative emotions that the characters within the actual series are feeling themselves, and I feel like they actually did this. I do feel like there was a lot of positives within the season, and I feel like the last 2 episodes definitely picked up, particularly the last one. I do feel like the last one was a very good episode. It was great and definitely picked up the pace. But let me know what you think of season 6. I feel like they did this on purpose, but let me know your thoughts.